Do planes really leave chemtrails in the sky? And if they do, are they capable of manipulating the weather? Chemtrails have been often commonly confused or possibly even misrepresented as contrails, or more so condensation trails, as described by aeronautical engineers and scientists as vapor trails, which are described as line-shaped clouds produced by aircraft engine exhaust or changes in air pressure, typically at aircraft cruising altitudes several miles above the Earth's surface. Now, these contrails are comprised primarily of water in the form of ice crystals, and depending on altitude, temperature, and percentages of humidity will determine their size, shape, color, density, thickness, duration, and staying power in the skies. So let me toss around a few ideas and keywords, and I will begin with stratospheric aerosol injection and the concept of geoengineering. Although it's not new and dates back to at least 1965, they often go hand in hand when discussing the effects of climate change over the course of human history. Whereas in certain instances, the warning of the climate system or warming thereof is described by some of the as unequivocal, and dating back to as early as 1950, studies on the human influence of climate systems has produced some shocking and almost unbelievable theories and conclusions. Solar radiation management, in terms of deliberate and large-scale manipulation of environmental processes that affects the Earth's climate, SRM, geoengineering has been suggested as one possible approach. The inclusion of environmental sulfates, black carbon, metallic aluminum, and aluminum oxide aerosols, as well as their potential human health impacts, are a top concern, as speculation and discussions can be found on forums and Discord servers with seemingly almost endless queries and a plethora of search results. Quite possibly so much data, fact, fiction, photos, videos, studies, journals, lectures, and more that you could easily spend a lifetime consuming it all and still never fully reach a solidified and substantiated conclusion with undisputable evidence to support it. I mean, what's so hard to believe that the idea of certain entities are taking to the skies to spread chemicals for whatever reason it may be, and their justifications are? I've even seen it myself in a much smaller, localized operation when driving through rural America and seeing low-flying, single-engine aircrafts dumping unknown substances over crop fields. A much more common and generally accepted practice, but why can't this be done on a much larger scale and at a much higher altitude? For possibly much different reasons. Now, according to some, and particularly when discussing likely causes of certain types of cancers, chemtrails are commonplace within the vernacular of the reports. Chemtrails oftentimes are being described as geoengineered aerosols that are loaded with toxic chemicals, including, but not limited to, barium, strontium-90, aluminum, cadmium, zinc, viruses, and chaff. So chaff looks like snow, but it's actually mylar fibers like fiberglass coated with aluminum, desiccated or dried out blood cells, plastic, and paper. And a polymer chemist by the name of Dr. R. Michael Castle claims to have studied atmospheric polymers for years and has identified microscopic polymers comprised of genetically engineered fungal forms mutated with viruses, which claims are now part of the air that we breathe. And as part of the unpopular opinion, thinks chemtrails have nothing to do with the jet engine combustion process at all. I mean, have you ever noticed how they are often laid in a grid-like pattern by multiple planes or even drones too, where they disperse slowly, taking on the appearance of an odd, at first narrow, but widening smoky clouds until merging together to form an aerosol bank that obscures the blue sky and gives the appearance of a dirty white overcast. Now, I'm no expert, but apparently there is a substantial difference in the two forms of trails that can be seen in the skies that have been left by passing aircraft, typically of government military grade. And that, unlike normal contrails, which quickly dissipate, chemtrails, or fake clouds, as my kids like to call them, sometimes take hours to dissipate and eventually fan out to a spiderweb type of milky haze that seemingly covers the entire sky. Odd. And as these are formed from minute reflective metallic particles, they eventually reach the Earth. Thought to be secretly filling the sky without our knowledge or consent with billions of megatons of aluminum, strontium-90, barium, and chaff to reflect the sun's dangerous rays back into space, thought to be an epic and brilliantly maneuvered on the unsuspecting public by dubbing them as persistent contrails with the potential of possibly harming our environment. I mean, is it so hard to believe that the history of weather modification in certain instances dates back to 1932, when the Leningrad Institute of Rainmaking was established in the Soviet Union? Or how about also during the 2008 Olympics, when the Chinese government used cloud seeding to create a downpour elsewhere so as to keep the stadium dry ahead of the opening ceremony of the global sporting event? So are the claims by conspiracy theorists true that chemtrails are deliberately put into the skies by planes? I mean, we all know that scientists in the US are flying planes into clouds to make it snow more. Reports from last year revealed that a staggering 61% of the contiguous US is in drought. And the controversial AI, or artificial insemination of sorts in the skies through a process called cloud seeding, has been happening for decades. Some say these are attempts by large corporations and government branches acting as if, quote unquote, you're playing God. The state of Wyoming started cloud seeding in 2003 as part of a study. Then 8 seasons ago, they started doing it in an official capacity after their 10-year study proved it works. Since then, there have been countless more missions that have been completed. And by comparison, Wyoming is fairly new to the game when you take a look at other states such as Utah and North Dakota, who have been cloud seeding since the 70s and 80s. The process of cloud seeding uses an already existing cloud and injects silver iodide into the cloud, which adds tiny particles called ice nuclei, which is what water needs to freeze. Inherently, clouds in basic terms are a collection of water droplets and or ice crystals floating in the sky. So the nuclei help the cloud produce precipitation, and artificial ice nuclei help create more precipitation than the cloud would produce otherwise. Now, this can be done in 2 ways. One is from the ground and the other is from the air. Using silver iodide as a seeding agent, the ground-based generators kind of look like small weather stations and are like 20 feet tall, and they aerosolize into the atmosphere, while the most popular way is by plane or aircraft using flares. Once the pilot or unmanned aircraft or drone flies into the storm and then ignite the cardboard casings full of silver iodide and seed the clouds, the end result is more moisture in the cloud, resulting in more precipitation, scientifically tested and proven. But in the case of the claims that trails are deliberately put into the sky by planes to disrupt weather or control population growth, well, according to my research, there is no adequate scientific evidence to date that proves that that myth can be undeniably true. And another myth that I would like to discuss is the myth that it isn't possible to quit a job that you hate and start building a business for yourself. Beginning to build out your brand and make substantial amounts of money on a consistent basis with direct deposits made at regular intervals into your business checking account at whatever bank you choose to hold your money, before withdrawing and investing it into the markets like stocks, crypto, real estate, or more importantly, reinvesting back into yourself and your business or businesses, because you don't have to settle for just one. I myself have been producing short videos to upload to YouTube for a little over a year now on this specific channel, and it has provided me with a very windy situation, blowing my phone over, with a substantial income from doing it in just a few minutes a day and pretty much on the side, thus leaving me with plenty of time to enjoy life, the world around me, my family, our time together, travel, make friends, build strong networks and relationships, and continue pursuing new business ventures that will in turn produce amazing results and ROI, or return on investment. Last year alone, I was able to produce a very respectable six-figure salary, all because of creating content and uploading it to YouTube. And that was only from this one channel. I have several other channels besides this one, and I start new channels quite often as my interests change, evolve, and I see great opportunities in specific trending niche categories that I also find very interesting and enjoy learning more about and making money whilst doing it. Now, if you care to know more about how much YouTube paid me with almost 75,000 subscribers and after only 1 year on the platform, as well as how I was able to reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours so quickly in order to become monetized, and how I was able to multiply my efforts exponentially and produce passive income, money that I make whilst I sleep, through affiliate programs, creator services like video editing, producing, directing, sponsored videos, digital products, coaching, third-party websites with memberships, in addition to YouTube and Google AdSense revenue, plus the viewer support through donations that I very much appreciate. Thank you guys very much. Plus the tax benefits of business expenses, write-offs, and how I can get most of my basic necessities, utilities, and other bills paid by my business tax-free. Well, if you do, then please let me know by hitting that like button and dropping a comment down below. You can reach me on Instagram too, or send me an email. Do you guys want to know more about my struggles, my hurdles, the challenges that I've faced, failures that I've experienced? Do I have any regrets for the life and money-making entrepreneurial career path that I've chosen? We can discuss it all, in addition to how many hours I work per day, the equipment that I use, and how I'm able to make videos so quickly, why I don't share my other channels with my audience, as well as my best advice for anyone interested in getting started. Well, if so, smash that like button and drop a comment or hit me up on IG. And until next time, folks, you all take care and be safe, and I'll see you all real soon.